Starting the week, prepping out, getting ready for Senior Day in Autzen Stadium. Our last game of the 2018 season at home. Certainly, for the seniors, a very, always an emotional moment. Guys that have done a lot for the program, and looking forward to prepping well, giving them the best opportunity, to have success on Saturday. With that being said, open to questions.
Questions? James?
Mario, can we just start with the injury update? You had a lot of guys there after the game between CJ, Cyrus, Sampson, Adrian, Stephen Jones. Just can you rattle off the update on several of these guys?
Can you give me all of them again? Because I try to keep them all at the forefront.
Well, let's start with your running backs, CJ and Cyrus.
CJ tweaked his neck a little bit. I think he's going to be okay. Sampson and Stephen Jones are both in concussion protocol, similar to what we had a couple weeks ago with the other guys. Cyrus had a quad contusion, a pretty significant one, where he was so swollen he could not get back on the plane at the risk of, again, flying on a blood clot. But he came back okay. He flew back yesterday, and he's doing very well, much better than expected. A couple other ones that you had mentioned. I'm trying to think. Adrian Jackson, as you saw on the block punt, he fell awkwardly on his shoulder and tweaked it a little bit, but we don't see it as being significant. At the moment, significant enough where he came out of the game, but after being evaluated yesterday, we feel very optimistic that he'll be good to go for practice tomorrow full speed.
On the right, Ryan?
Mario, if you have to lean on Travis a little bit more in the running game due to getting banged up with those other guys you mentioned, how much does that second half give you confidence that maybe you could lean on him?
Travis he's a pretty special freshman. I think you saw, against a team that was really good at defending the run. He found some good chunk plays in there, a 9-yarder or 17-yarder, made some guys miss, hit the holes with speed, was patient to the hole, and ran with speed, and it came out through it, with some explosiveness. Also caught the ball really well. We have confidence in Travis. Those guys might be young, but they're guys that that we trust, and like any freshman, they have their faults, but they're hard workers and they're dedicated and committed. So we trust him.
And again.
Did anything change with the running game with him in there, or was it just better execution by the offensive line at that point?
I think better execution. I think we started getting better, as the game went on. We felt that they were such a big group of guys who are really good at stuffing up the A and the B gap runs. We started getting the wide zone game going and started kind of pinning the backside with some man schemes and some full blocking that allowed us to get some plays going. And he hit him. When he hit him well. He did break 3 tackles on his runs. His point of attack grade was relatively high. So overall, we felt he did a good job. CJ had a couple of nice runs as well.
Gary, second row on the right.
Yeah, Coach, at the beginning of the season, you mentioned that the offensive line the year before had played about over 90% of the snaps. Mm-hmm. That this season it would probably be different. Mm-hmm. So in lieu that there's injuries now, not that you ever wanted those, but is it that much of a difference because you were wanting to play more players anyway? You see what I'm saying? It's just, are they pretty, you got to think they're all ready because you had that in place in the first place?
I think it helps alleviate, the situation when you do have injuries. I think you want your frontline guys to take the majority of the snaps. I think when, Stephen Jones, on a side note, played a tremendous game. In his first start, he really he was a significant factor in a lot of the things that were done in a positive manner on Saturday. But I think I don't think you ever want to lose a Penei Sewell throughout the course of the season. You certainly want to lose Steven. Dallas has been banged up on and off, but he's been able to fight through. I think between the use of and the playing time of a Capra and a Dallas Warmack and Throck getting some over there, you almost have 3 guys to make up for one, due to some of the injuries that they had. And Brady has stepped in there and done a nice job. So to me, I think it's a positive thing that you can get guys in there to play. Do you ever want to lose the guys that are initially stars that won it? No, I think that's always something that's, you have to work and you have to prepare to overcome that in some way, shape, or form. So, you want to play guys. You don't want to play them strictly due to an injury situation. I guess that's the best way I could answer that.
Right, Ryan?
Jordan Scott, to his credit, kind of came out and represented the defense after the game and put a lot of the blame on himself. for how he's playing. How important is it for him to get back to his game in terms of just stuffing that run and being strong up front?
Well, the way that we play defense, the nose tackle really is a critical piece. It controls the A gaps. He's going to be tough on himself. He's going to be very critical of himself because he has a lot of pride, and not only in what he is, but in performance as well. So I trust that he'll get back to form. I think it shows a lot about a young man when he can kind of own up and say, hey, I want to play better. And my response to him is like, well, we're going to coach you better. And we're going to give you opportunities to be in situations where it can alleviate, sometimes those double teams that you're getting down after down after down. So, but again, we trust Jordan. We trust he's gonna bounce back and have a better performance.
Front middle, James.
Just what are the contingencies, Mario, for the offensive line and for linebacker, where if your front line is basically the group that we saw with Jake obviously at center and Throck at left tackle, what do the contingencies start to be if Steven is out? Is it George Moore at tackle? Is it Capra at guard? Throck is the backup center at that point. At linebacker, if Sampson is out, is that Keith in? And basically who starts to fall in after that? Because after that, they're just guys aren't listed on this depth chart, haven't played very much this season after that.
You must have been in our meeting this morning, But those are the right answers at offensive line. George got in for a couple snaps this last game. Capra has multiple position value. Alex Forsythe has also repped at all three positions, the center position, both guards and tackles. And during the week of practice, for now 3 weeks, they've all gotten reps. Ever since Panay got hurt, we've been kind of, I wouldn't say musical chairs, but we've been getting guys multiple reps at multiple positions. If the linebacker position goes another step, now you look at guys like MJ Cunningham, the red shirt potentially coming off. Nate Hukalana, who's been with us. We got a couple of guys that we have been prepping in case it does get to that point. But as of right now, those are the guys that we're prepping with and going with. But as you know, you do have to have a so-called emergency plan in case it does get to that point.
All right, Ryan.
Mario, when you look at the Manny Wilkins to Harry combo plus their running back Benjamin, is this one of the more formidable challenges your defense has faced this season?
Without question. Manny Wilkins, his development as a quarterback for 2 straight years is incredible. He makes the right decisions, and the ball's out quick, and I think he probably doesn't get enough credit for being a physical guy too. When he runs the ball, I mean, he doesn't hesitate to run you over when he has to and throw his body around recklessly. Really impressive competitor and very accurate with the football. You don't see mistakes made by him. Obviously, at the receiver position, it's about as good as you'll get in the country. I know he's a projected, top, pick in the draft, and you can see why. Last year, he certainly made some monster plays against us, so guys, you have to be aware of it. I don't think their offensive line gets enough credit. Those guys have done a great job opening up holes for Benjamin and all their backs and giving the quarterback time to throw the ball. So, no, they formationally, they do a lot of things. They do the unbalanced stuff. They do, the tackle over stuff. They do some things that present, schematic issues if you're not ready for them. So a lot to prepare for and a good challenge for us.
All right, Austin. Front row.
Mario, when the offense isn't clicking the way you'd like, the offensive coordinator always gets a lot of scrutiny. How do you assess just the job Marcus has done with this offense, and what gives you confidence that it's going in the right direction?
Well, on Saturday we felt the first drive we had what we wanted on play one. We ended up having a drop, and then 2 plays or a couple plays later we get a sack fumble that kind of got us going in the wrong direction. So the first 3 drives weren't the start we want. Very slow start. And then the next 4 drives, we put them together, score a touchdown, a missed field goal, I think a touchdown, then a field goal before we sputtered on the 8th or 9th drive. I think it was the drive we had those 3 penalties. So certainly there was some progress. I know we've had some ups and downs offensively, and there's some good things and some things that we want to improve upon. And it's something that we assess, on a daily and a weekly basis. So, and we everything we strive for is excellence and productivity. And there's some flashes of it, and some other areas we got to get better.
Front middle, James.
Following up on that, Mario, do you think there's a disconnect at all with the masses, the fans, whatever, who obviously they want results, and that's ultimately what dictates it. But do you think there's a disconnect here because this was not aimless? You guys didn't abandon your identity, and you did get the lead back, and ultimately they come back and score very quickly. But if you guys hold on, a lot of this we're not talking about here. Do you think there's a disconnect about what the expectations are of this offense, where things were as far as progress from the outside to maybe what's going on inside and what you guys are seeing from either the line or the running backs, what have you?
Yeah, it's hard to say because I'm not fully connected to the outside world. I think when you're coaching football, you're not. I think what we all know is evidently clear in coming to Oregon that you have to rebuild a program. It's not a turnkey operation, and in doing so, there's going to be bumps in the road sometimes. It's not going to be perfect. Are there some great moments? Without a doubt. There's moments, especially in the first half of the season, where we're controlling the line of scrimmage. We're knocking people back. We're running the ball downhill, play action passing game, really consistent. Third down efficiency has been consistent, and we're probably first or second in the conference in offense, and we've dropped down, I think, to number 4, or something of that nature. And we want to be number 1. We want to be number 1. We want to be consistent. We want to be perfect. And it takes work and it takes development. And those things come with preparation. It comes with execution. It comes with a lot of things that factor into growing a program and rebuilding a program back to the level that you want it to be, and then elevating it past that. So that's, I guess, my best description of maybe the connection that we have in terms of what we have inside the building. When we don't win a game, of course we're going to be disappointed. We're big on the whole Bill Parcells thing. There's no medals for trying. We don't, we highlighted to our team, when you are working hard and you are rebuilding a culture, the painful steps that come with it, you can't skip them sometimes. And pose a question to them, do you know when was the last time that as a program that Oregon was able to come back from a 14-point deficit? And it was a pretty staggering statistic. I think it was 05, if I'm not mistaken, from a 14-0. I think it was a 21-3 comeback back in, I think, 12, which was awesome against Stanford. But so, and what I was telling them, I'm like, look, I'm not saying that to give you a consolation prize on playing with effort. Playing with effort is a given, okay? So we're not rewarding the fact that we came close. We're just recognizing the fact that there's progress and ground being made up and towards what we want to go, towards what we want to be. We were not very good on the road the 2 previous times that we went. We started off slow. It's why I used the timeout to remind our team of who we are, what our purpose there is. That's why I called the timeout. Similar like you do in basketball. I know it's probably unorthodox for football, but I thought it was important. And after that, I saw a team grow in many ways, not to the full potential that we want. I mean, come on, man. I don't sugarcoat stuff. But I saw a team learn how to fight and come back and actually go and overtake the momentum and take the lead. And then we weren't able to finish the job. I don't ever want to use the term hold on to the lead with them, because that's playing on the defensive and playing not to lose. We didn't finish the job. So I think, of course, there's learning, there's educational stuff that goes with that, and there has to be reality that goes with that. Yeah, there's progress. We're not where we want to be, and it's not going to magically happen. Development, enhancing the caliber of talent at each position group, pushing everybody from a competition standpoint, coaching it better, teaching it better, and galvanizing it. I tell the team, man, the way of the world right now is, hey, throw your hands up. Wow, this is not perfect. And that's not the way we're going to be. This requires people that will not flinch when things get tough. It requires people to have nerves of steel, thick skin, and be able to go to work. And that's what we do.
Second row on the right, Jerry.
Yeah, Coach, you take encouragement for the fact that you beat UCLA, and the Arizona State-UCLA game was it 31-28? Wasn't that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, do you take encouragement that you beat a team, pretty handily that played, so equally with Arizona State? I mean, it's not like you're a big underdog or something.
I think in the Pac-12, week after week, and I know everyone gets a chance to watch those games, there's a lot of parity now. I think it's hard to tell, what team is going to be able to beat who. So I think that's a positive for the entire conference, and ourselves included, that no matter who do we play on our schedule, that everyone has an opportunity. Everyone has a chance to win that. It's not going to be about the most talented team showing up. It's going to be about the team that plays best. I think that's encouraging for every team on a week-by-week basis in the Pac-12.
Front middle, James, 2 more. Time for 2 more.
To get back to the defense, Mario, I mean, especially these last 3 weeks against the run, especially when you know it's coming, when you now have the top rusher in the league and one of the top rushers in the league the week after, what is to give the defense confidence? Playing with confidence is such a big part of this game. How do you instill it in your staff, into your players, to be confident when there has been failures for 3 straight weeks and now you have even bigger challenges coming up?
It starts with the film, and it starts with being real in terms of where you are and who you are. Some of the things were poor fits. Some of the things were a technique error. In other words, eyes getting caught up in the backfield and jumping out of someone's particular gap that allowed for some chunk play. So some of the stuff is very fixable. And the other part of it is, we're working hard and assessing to do things that could help our defense schematically be better against the run, because I don't think it's a matter of want to. We've had success against the run before. I know our coaches are working extremely hard at it. We know we have a good player and a good offensive line coming into town, and it presents quite a challenge. And when you meet that, if you can make those corrections, if you could continue to enhance your scheme, whether it be a different front, bring in pressure, a line movement, whatever it may be, and part of it's doing what we do better, you have to have answers for your players. And we have some good answers. And we've got to implement it. We've got to coach it right to the best of our abilities, make sure that they trust and believe in it, and go out and execute it.
Great. Alex, last question.
Coach, you with Saturday night being senior night, and you talk about rebuilding this program and the culture. Just how instrumental have the seniors been this season in making that progress that you have seen?
I think it's huge because they've been through a lot. They've seen a lot. It's been 3 years of trying to figure it out. I've been a player when there's a coaching change, and I've seen a lot of guys grow. I've seen a lot of guys understand the importance of when you are a senior, how you can set the tone. You can really set the table for those that come after you. You have a chance to create your own legacy. You see, I'm lucky. I walked into a locker room where there was a Michael Irvin over there and an Alonzo Highsmith, and there were guys on the backs of your shoulder all the time remind you, hey man, we do things a certain way. And I think these guys, a lot of these guys came in right after the national championship run and caught a bit of it, but then, ran into, some tougher times, and therefore having to be the leaders themselves, having to sometimes figure it out on their own through some change, through some transition and some tough times. So that hardens an individual in the right kind of way. That helps somebody grow up and mature. So hats off to them, tremendous credit to them for being accountable and stand-up young men on their way to being fully grown men. Special guys that have worked hard, have accomplished some things that are really impressive, and still have a good amount of football still to play. And it starts with Saturday. So besides the fact that we're playing at Autzen, which obviously, that's our thing, right? That's our passion, is making sure that everyone does everything possible to give their best to these seniors that have done their best for the program, especially in these last 9 months or so.